Gyokeres fuming with Sporting. He wants out. He wants to go now. The Gyokeres transfer is heating up, and Manchester United are taking advantage of that and making their move. Mbeumo to Man United. What is happening? Look, do not worry about Spurs. We knew we had Cunha for a month. It took us about a month to get here we go for Cunha deal, but we knew it was going to happen for about a month, even though it went quiet. The same has happened with Mbeumo. The deal is close. He again is forcing the move to United. Made it clear. Garnacho wants to stay in the Premier League. Arsenal, Chelsea wants to join them. What is the latest on Garnacho's exit? Hojlund has a fair bit of interest, and the Hojlund exit could be speeding up, which again further allows the Gyokeres deal for us as well. And of course, continuing on, we've got a little bit of talk on Semenyo. Tottenham are looking at him probably because they know, despite reports, that they're not going to get Mbeumo. So Tottenham are looking at Semenyo. So hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup. Where I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news in this next 10 minutes for you guys. It's the transfer window. We do our late night roundup nearly every evening in the transfer window, unless there's just no relevant news. So if you can't watch the live streams, if you had a busy day and you just want to catch up now, this is the place to be. Let's start with the Gyokeres news, and more importantly, what Fabrizio Romano has had to say on this, because he's had to say a fair bit over the last few days. In the last few hours, Manchester United, Juventus, and Al Hilal all called up the agent of Victor Gyokeres. Last few hours, all calling them up. Now, he doesn't want to go to Saudi, he wants to stay in Europe, and apparently his preference is Premier League or La Liga. Well, Juventus, as far as I'm aware, play in Italy. United have a big strength here. We don't have Champions League football, but we've got Ruben Amorim, we've got the Premier League, he's lived in England before. We've got a little bit of that pool there. Like, I think if Arsenal chose Gyokeres over Sesko, we could be in trouble. I think if Barcelona went for Gyokeres, we could be in trouble. But right now, we're leading the race, and Victor Gyokeres wants to go to Manchester United. You know, we didn't know that a week ago, but we know now Victor Gyokeres wants to go to United because he's had talks and he's not said no. So, let's discuss what else Romano had to say. In the last 48 hours, Manchester United, Al Hilal, and Juventus contacted Gyokeres' agent. He's not prioritising a move to Al Hilal despite their proposal. Without UCL football, United's pursuit has slowed, but with it, the deal was seen as almost done. Romano almost basically said, and he did say, basically, if we had won the Europa League, there was a 99% chance that Victor Gyokeres would have gone to United. And Romano suggested the reason it slowed isn't because now we haven't got Champions League football, Victor Gyokeres is like, nah. It's because now we haven't got Champions League football, financially the deal is harder to do. What Romano was suggesting is if we'd have got Champions League football, we would have had the finances to press ahead with Gyokeres. We don't have the finances to go for Gyokeres. We're going for Mbeumo right now. So after we get Mbeumo, we're going to need to sell to get a deal done for Victor Gyokeres. So let's get into the interesting story on Victor Gyokeres, because he could be forcing a move. Victor Gyokeres is furious with Sporting for not honouring their agreement to allow a move for 60 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons. They now value him at 80 million euros. The player has removed references to Sporting from his Instagram, say Record Portugal. Now, Gyokeres had a gentleman's agreement to allow him to leave for 60 million euros, which is 50 million pounds, and then 10 million in add-ons, which is 8 million pounds. So a 50 plus 8 million deal, which is a 58 million deal in total. He had a gentleman's agreement with Sporting to allow him to leave for 58 million with 50 base fee, which I think is a pretty good fee for someone that scored 54 goals last season. And yes, I know 20 are penalties. Yes, I know a lot of them were versus the bottom sides in Portugal. But look, you look at his time at Coventry, he's a good player. Is he maybe a tad overrated? Yes. Is there better players in the market? Yes. But as a player that has played under Ruben Amorim, as a player that can create chances out of nothing for himself, as a team that needs a proven goal scorer, I don't want to take the risk with Sesko and Akite being young people. Victor Gyokeres for a 50 million base fee is a good deal. And he is furious for Sporting because they're not honouring this agreement. He's forcing it on Sporting. Victor Gyokeres is starting to force that move on and put that pressure on Sporting, it looks like, which gives Manchester United a big advantage. Financially, we need a sale. We're going to talk about Garnacho. Garnacho is the sale that's going to unlock a move for Gyokeres. But financially, that could open up if we sell Garnacho. So, Could United get the Gyokeres price down to 50 million? Because 58 million would be the total package. Could we get down to 50 plus 8? Ben Jacobs, who's been very on the money lately and been very good with his reports lately, said that Victor Gyokeres is a player on United's list and Gyokeres is open to a move even without Champions League football. He said Sporting do not have any formal bids but expect to sell for 59 million. I think United might test the waters and make a 50 million bid. After we got Mbeumo done, we're going to put that second bid in for Mbeumo. We're going to talk about that in a sec. I think we could test the waters and go for a second Gyokeres bid. So we talk about Mbeumo because Ben Jacobs, who's been pretty spot on, pretty on money, has spoken about Mbeumo. He said this, Mbeumo wants to join Manchester United and made it clear to all suitors. He's made all suitors aware he wants to join United. Despite, Thomas Frank joining Tottenham, that doesn't change Mbeumo's stance. So do not worry about Tottenham. Reports of Spurs hijack from Mbeumo are premature for now, said Ben Jacobs. Look, if we don't hurry up, maybe there's a chance. But right now, Mbeumo's picked us. He's waiting for us. He's waiting for us to do the move. A little bit like Cunha last month, and we got that move done. United are currently the only side in formal talks with Brentford, and we're solely focusing on trying to agree a fee with Brentford. What I would tell you on Mbeumo from what other people have said as well is essentially right now we put our first bid in for Mbeumo, which was 45 plus 10. That got rejected. David Ornstein confirmed that last week. Mbeumo's chosen to join United. Right now, Brentford want 62 million because we paid that for Cunha. Man United are like, we ain't going to give you 62 million for Mbeumo. Man United thinking and saying, what can we do that Brentford will accept? Man United don't want to put another bid in and Brentford reject it. Man United having conversations right now with Brentford to say, look, if we gave you 50 plus 10, would you accept? And Brentford like 50 plus, 55 plus 7. And Man United are like, what about 52 plus 8? That kind of thing. That's what United are talking about. And when United come to this verbal agreement with Brentford over a fee, they will put in their second bid, and that second bid will be accepted. And if it's not, that's because Brentford were demanding too much, and Boomer keeps pushing and pushing the move. Maybe Brentford lower the fee. It happens. It could drag on. Now, one deal that hopefully doesn't drag on because United want to sell this guy quickly and move on and use these funds to invest in the transfer window is Alejandro Garnacho. We know Leverkusen are interested, Napoli have had interest. There's a lot of interest in Garnacho. 3 Premier League clubs are interested, have acquired. And Romano did say that Garnacho would love to continue in the Premier League with a different team. Staying in England is his priority. We've had multiple sources and good sources of information suggest that staying in England is Garnacho's priority. The 3 teams that have inquired about him apparently are Villa, Arsenal, and of course Chelsea. Now, the thought of Garnacho joining Arsenal or Chelsea, particularly Arsenal, doesn't sit right with me. He wants to go to Arsenal or Chelsea, it looks like, because look, they're in the Champions League, they're in the Premier League. Garnacho's one of those. He only wants to play in Spain, he only wants to play in England. That's what I think about Garnacho. He's not interested in really going to Italy. I think if there's a good offer, seeing what Napoli have done this season, of course, he needs to get out of Manchester United. If there's no offers in Italy, if there's no offers in Spain, Garnacho could change his mind, but if there's no offers in Spain or England, he could change his mind and go to Italy. I think he's open to Italy. I think he's open to Germany. I think he's open to France. But I think his preference is the Premier League, if not La Liga. So Garnacho's the main sale I talk about because I think that's the one that's really going to give United the funds to do what they want. But obviously, Hojlund could go, Anthony could go, Sancho could go, Rashford could go, and all of that's going to help. None of it to the extent Garnacho would help. But even getting Hojlund off could maybe open the door for Gyokeres. Now, in regards to Hojlund, United, according to Sky Sports, have made an initial approach for Victor Gyokeres. And the club are evaluating the terms of a potential deal for Gyokeres, but United are also actively searching for a new striker this summer, regardless of Hojlund's future. So even if Hojlund doesn't go, we're still pursuing Gyokeres. We might be in a situation where we have Gyokeres, Hojlund, and Zirkzee at the club next season. I think the Garnacho funds will go on Gyokeres, but I think, Hojlund sort of accepted he probably needs to go. He might not play as much. Hojlund is looking for a move. There is talks with Inter. In regards to Hojlund, Graham Bailey said that he is attracting plenty of interest. Now, RB Leipzig, I think, would be a really good move for him in the Bundesliga with the space he gets. I know he came from Italy and did well in Italy, but I think RB Leipzig would be a move. If they sell Xavi Simons as well, they will get some funds. Eintracht Frankfurt could be a good move. They might lose Ekatike. They've lost Mamouche. They seem to get the best out of strikers. And Bayer Leverkusen are all interested. I actually think Bundesliga will be really good for Hojlund. He has offers from Italy, and United want a permanent deal for him. For me, I think the best thing Hojlund could do is go over to Germany. I think back with Tenor, back at Bayer Leverkusen as well, it could definitely help him out. So, obviously United want to offload Hojlund. It's not really going to impact the Gyokeres deal, but it might have a part to play. I think Garnacho is the one that's going to bring in funds. And there is interest in Hojlund from many clubs, which is good. The more clubs that are interested in Garnacho, Hojlund, Anthony, the easier it's going to be to offload them, get a good price for them. There's also news coming out from Sky about Tottenham having interest in Semenyo. Man United did have some interest in Semenyo, but they're focusing on Mbeumo. Mbeumo's the top target, and United should put in a new bid for Mbeumo soon. So essentially, what we're waiting for is a second Mbeumo bid. Boom, deal done. We're waiting for a sale to happen and United to advance for Gyokeres. Now, Gyokeres and Mbeumo seem to be sort of pushing and forcing those clubs into that move to potentially Manchester United, but we have to wait and see. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning into today's show. I will be back in the morning. Thank you for watching. Bye.